Hi guys, Jen here, and I am here to tell you about my labour, delivery and birth. Hi guys, Jen here, and yes, I thought I would tell you about my labour, delivery and birth of little Max. I have to do school pick up soon, so that's why he's in the car seat already, and he seems pretty settled, sort of. Anyway, so yeah, I thought I'd get to it. I ended up going into labour naturally by myself. I actually thought I would make it to 41 weeks, but I was 1 day short of that. So I've gone over with all 3 of my babies now, so wasn't surprised that I went over this time around. So anyway, the day was sort of like any other. Every day was harder than the last. He's a bigger baby, and I definitely found it hard to just cope, like with the pain on my back and all that sort of thing. And I found that I was getting more tightenings that day. I couldn't walk as fast. If I did, like, yeah, I was just setting off more tightenings, or Braxton Hicks, whatever you call them. And yeah, so the day went on, and the kids went to bed just before 7, and I messaged a lady that was going to be looking after them about 7, just touching base, no labour signs to tell you of yet. And then an hour later I sent her a text saying, maybe there's something. It's probably 50-50 this sort of at this stage, whether I'm going to go into labour or not. It was just, I just felt like I was getting more tightenings, a bit more uncomfortable that night, but nothing clear cut, that's for sure. But looking back, I should have known, because I didn't want to have really any dinner. I had 3 pieces of avocado toast, and usually go back for something sweet afterwards, and I just didn't feel like it that night. I also wanted to go to bed early, so I thought I'd have a shower and just sit down on the couch before going to bed early. And yeah, after my shower, I sat on the couch, and it was about 9:35 at night, and yeah, I was just sitting there. What was I watching? I think it might have been Winners and Losers, and I'd like never watched that. And I was just sort of staring at it, not really concentrating. And yeah, I was watching that, and all of a sudden it was like I could hear a pop in me, like someone had popped a water balloon in me, and the water started trickling out. It wasn't all of my waters, just enough to make like a wet patch. So immediately after, I started like shaking, because I just really feared labour this time. I just didn't want to go through it again. It was 8 hours with Zoe, my first, and 4 hours with Alex, my second, and I thought I was going to die with my second. It was pretty extreme with my first, but I just didn't want to go through it again. So usually when labour starts, I'll go sit on the toilet, but this time I was like, I don't even want it to progress. So I could barely find the number of the lady in my phone, rang her as I went to get hubby, who was just working on some stuff in the office, and I said, we got to go. So that was as soon as my waters broke. I know that I needed to make that decision. I didn't want to have a baby on the side of the road, especially where we live. The hospital's like not close, and I did not want to get stuck on the road. So we ended up waiting, gathering things, and then waiting a little bit, maybe 20 minutes, felt like forever, to go to the hospital. And at the hospital, so we got in the car. It was the first labour I had. I wasn't screaming the car down, because I hadn't allowed myself, I hadn't relaxed. I know mentally with labour, if you don't relax, your labour's not going to progress, and I just hadn't relaxed yet, and I just wanted to get to that hospital. So I was still getting tightenings, I was still getting contractions, but they weren't super full on where they took over your whole body and you had to like moan and that. It was still a very uncomfortable car ride, and I also didn't bother getting changed. I just went with my wet patch pants. I just didn't care. I sat on a towel in the car and didn't care. And anyway, so we got to the hospital, and I was just really so scared. didn't want to go through labor again. I was so scared. So I told the midwives that, and I told them straight away. I hadn't even talked to hubby. I said, I want an epidural. I hadn't had one before, and I decided that's it. No, I'm getting one. And she goes, you're probably not far enough along, because I mean, my waters are only broken about an hour and 10 minutes ago. So yeah, anyway, she checked me and she's like, yeah, you're far enough along. I think I was 3 or 4 at that stage. No, 3 centimeters. And yeah, so she ended up organizing it. She said the anesthesiologist or whatever, anesthetist, was in theatre at the time, and they had to call someone in, but that person came really quickly, and he was so lovely and so reassuring. I sort of felt really nervous about getting one, but I just didn't want to go through the intensity again. So anyway, he put that in. That was about, I don't know, somewhere around 11 o'clock at night, I think, by this stage. And it numbed sort of like the top, from the top of my legs, my bum, that down there region, and about halfway up my stomach. But it didn't feel numb, it just felt different. And I definitely it just felt like I was getting tightenings or period pain sometimes. The epidural definitely gave me the shakes. I was like, you know, like that with my hands and my legs, sort of uncontrollably. Sometimes it was more worse than others, it just was going through stages. Anyway, so my labour progressed, and hubby got to sleep beside me, and it was so different, like not screaming the whole way through it. Yeah, I really was thankful for that epidural. And of course they have, you know, it's doing fast. They, so distracting. Anyway, basically my labour progressed for the next 4 to 5 hours actually. They checked me again at 1, and I was 5 centimeters. And when she checked me and was playing around, she actually popped more of my waters, heaps more came out. And yeah, then I was allowed to progress. They kept watching the monitor. I think I was getting 4 contractions every 10 minutes. It's like, yeah, 4 in 10-minute period. And they were, yeah, checking baby and that sort of stuff. And I just lay there. I really wanted to switch off and go to sleep, but at the same time, when I'm full of adrenaline and got the shakes, I'm just a chatterbox. I can't stop talking. So that's pretty much what I did to the midwife beside me while hubby slept. And then about 4 a.m. ish, they came in and they said, you're pretty much, like, there's a little bit of cervix to move out of the way, but you're pretty much almost there. And I asked them if I could get up on my knees to give birth, because I did that with my second and I found it so much easier. I said, I can feel my legs, I feel like I could get up and walk around. So they were happy for me to get on my knees on the bed. So I turned around and they sort of brought the bed all the way upright, and I was leaning on the back. Pretty much just took off the hospital gown I had on and was naked. And yeah, just sort of, my body sort of was pushing itself, like, which I hadn't really felt before with having a natural birth, because I was in so much pain. I didn't notice my body pushing as much. So I just sort of let my body do the work for some of it. I was pretty scared during it though, because I was just worried. And they ended up saying, like, because obviously when the baby progresses down the birth canal, the heart rate drops. And one time they said, if the baby's heart rate goes down for that long again, we're going straight to theatre. And I was just so scared. I was like, that's it, I've got to start pushing, I've got to get this baby out. But every time I pushed, his heart rate went down. So sometimes I'd, like, because I could see the screen, I'd push, and then I could see it going down for a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'll release a bit. And when I released, his heart rate went back to normal. So yeah, I kept at it. I guess it must have been 40 minutes. It didn't feel that long. It probably felt like 10 or 15. And yeah, so I kept, towards the end I was pushing, but it was so nice to not be screaming, to, like, sort of have a quiet birth. And I pushed, you know, at the right sort of times when I was getting contractions. And yeah, at some stage his head popped out. He was facing the right way at that stage, which was good, which is back away from my back, not back to back. I can't remember what they call it. I can't remember. The better way to face, which is head down, and yeah, so once his head popped out, the rest of him slid out, and obviously they got him from behind me, and yeah, then they passed him through my legs, and I'm like, oh, what did I have? And because obviously we didn't know what we were having, and they're like, we'll let you find out. And so they passed him through, but there was an umbilical cord in the way. I was like moving it out of the way, and yeah, it was so surprising to see those boy bits. I mean, I sort of kept saying I thought I'd have a boy because it was a different pregnancy, but yeah, it was really, really weird to see boy bits. We were both sort of expecting a girl, even though I was expecting a boy. Hard to explain, but yeah, it was pretty weird. And then yeah, I pulled him up, and then they sort of helped me maneuver back around, and I put him on my chest. He was pretty blue. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut this short. He was pretty blue, and he was struggling to breathe for quite some time, but they didn't take him off me. They just let him continue on, and it sort of stabilized after about an hour, and that is pretty much my labor and delivery video. Once the epidural was taken out, obviously I still had a catheter in, and they helped me shower. I just showered in water. It was a couple hours before we got moved to the ward, and yeah, we wanted to leave the same day, and yeah, we wanted to. I'm gonna have to do it. Hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy. Anyway, I'm gonna have to cut this short because I know he is hungry, but yeah, so we wanted to leave the same day because hubby had to get back to work, which has been really hard. But yeah, when we were on the ward, they picked up with his fast breathing. His breathing rate was like 80 to 110 breaths per minute, and a newborn's breath rate should be like 40 to 60. So it was yeah, way faster, which is not a good sign. So that's when we got moved to special care nursery. He was probably 8 to 10 hours old when we started getting moved over there and getting tests done. And yeah, so anyway, I think I'll leave it there for labour and delivery, because I think I'll explain later in another video about special care nursery and what went on there. But he seems okay at the moment, don't you, little man? Yeah, he's a little gentle bub. He's got stalk marks, as you can see. Hey bub. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my labour and delivery and birth video. Leave any comments below if you like. I really wanted to film some labour and delivery stuff, but I was too panicked, and I thought that might be the case. It was the furthest thing from my mind, filming the intensity and just how I felt. Like, would have been nice, I guess, to look back on, but I'm okay with not doing it for now. Yeah, it was just, yeah, and I don't really want to put myself completely naked out there either, because that's how I was. But anyway, that's the labour and delivery stuff. I might put some photos on if I get a chance. Hey, and this one is going to the feed. Say bye bye. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for watching.